Hello everyone and welcome to TTT Markets. I am Fotis and in this video we are going to discuss if the US dollar, the sinking US dollar, is the main trading catalyst for the markets, at least for the first half of 2026. At the time we are making this video, it's the end of January in 2026, and it seems that the US dollar themes around the future of the US dollar are the main catalyst behind price action. So without any other delay, allow me to show you this. This is an infographic I found on the internet, and someone had posted this on Twitter. It's called X now, and I am sorry, I don't know exactly who the author of this infographic is, but it is pretty accurate. It describes exactly what is happening right now, the sinking dollar and the golden rise. And let me explain. What are the core factors driving the decline? It's incoherent trade policy, geopolitical uncertainty, and fiscal concerns. This has to do with the policy of the Trump administration in the United States. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow with trade policy. One day they say this, the other day they say that. So this is something very fluid. There is significant geopolitical uncertainty. We don't know what is going to happen with Venezuela, with Iran, tensions within NATO, tensions between US and China, Russia and Europe, US and Europe. So you can see again the geopolitical landscape is pretty fluid as well. And then there are fiscal concerns about the future outlook of the government and the debt in the United States. So this is very important. Investors are taking all this into consideration. So this is why there is downside pressure in the US dollar. Something that hasn't been mentioned here is that there are expectations we are going to have a new head at the Fed. So there is going to be a new chairman in a few days. And the expectations are that this is going to be someone who will have a far more dovish outlook, a far more dovish policy compared to Powell. So again, this is against the US dollar. So what is the impact? Euro USD at the highest level since 2021, since June 2021. Dollar Swissy 15-year lows, and at the same time we see gold up 11% in 1 week. Silver fresh record all-time high. So what does this mean? Is this the main catalyst? I think this is going to be one of the main catalysts, at least for the first half of 2026. Let's go now and take a look at the charts. And we are going to start with a daily chart of the dollar index. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to weekly so you can see this a little bit better, so you can see exactly where we are at the moment. This is a very critical point. So let me again zoom out so you can see the big picture. So the dollar after 2010, 2011 started moving up. So from the lows around 74, 75, moved up to 114. So that was in 2022. It moved down again, and now this is the important bit. It is outside the trend line, the rising trend line on the downside. So it is outside the trend line on the outside. So let me show you this. So do you see where we are now? This is right now the dollar index. Let me switch to daily and look at smaller details. There is this support. If I connect these lows right here, so there is some support here. The dollar index is making a nice consolidation, a nice base here, but it is still outside the trend line, and the catalysts, all the political and economic catalysts, haven't gone away. So what is going to happen next? it will be tricky trying to sell the dollar index right here, because we can't rule out a correction to the upside, test the trend line and back down again. It is difficult to sell the dollar right now. But I want you to be careful at this. Let me switch to the Euro USD. So Euro USD, rising trend line. This level is very important, the 120 level. Again, let me switch. So this is the 4 hour. Let me switch to weekly so you can see the big picture. Euro USD is testing this level, 120. If this breaks, it opens the road for higher price. It opens the road for, I think, at least 122, 123. So this is something to pay attention. Initially, it found resistance here. Let me go back now to the 4 hours so you can see better. It found resistance, significant level, round number, corrected lower. We had comments from Besant, we had the FOMC, we had a slightly more hawkish Jerome Powell. This caused the Euro USD to move lower, but at 119 it found support and it is attempting to move back up again. It is, as I showed you also on the dollar index, difficult level to do business. Do you just go ahead and buy and aim for 122, 123, or do you wait for a pullback and buy? I think that would be the safest idea. Wait for a pullback and buy again, provided all catalysts remain the same. If you are a trend follower, if you trade momentum, wait until it clears 120 and it is obviously above 120 and the trend is stronger. Right now we can't rule out, as I said, a smaller correction lower. What happens with dollar yen? If you look at the dollar yen, we had fear that the Bank of Japan would intervene, and because also the USD issues we discussed earlier, this caused a sharp correction in dollar yen. But again, it is testing this trend line. It has found support. It tested the 200-day moving average. Nice consolidation. Do not try to forecast what will happen next. It is better to react instead of trying to predict. So this level is not good for me as a seller of USD. I prefer to wait. Hopefully we get a correction and I sell into resistance. Right here we cannot make a safe forecast, a safe prediction what is going to happen next. But what I can see from the volume profile, I can see the resistance is a little bit higher. There is a small gap around 155.50. So this is an area that I would prefer to do business. Selling here just a few pips above the 200 MA, no, it is not safe to do business right here. Because of the drop in dollar yen, we had a drop in pound yen. So the yen strengthened significantly because of fear of intervention in the markets. And again, I'm interested to do business higher. I'm not going to predict here. I'm going to react a little bit higher. The same thing, okay, let me click restore connection. There you go. The same thing happened here. The difference with euro yen is that it is making a nice base here at the bottom. The point of control, the highest volume, is down at 183.20. So I'm not going to sell there. I'm not going to buy yen at this level. Either sell again euro yen higher, or maybe one small speculative long here with a stop below. If you trade euro yen, do not trade pound yen at the same time. Be careful. But I also did mention commodities. And take a look at the Aussie. Because of the rise of commodities, the Aussie, we can say, is on turbo, right? Look at this, straight up, no correction. It is very difficult trying to predict a top. Maybe this is a resistance level, 71.40, 50. Pay attention to this level. But I also wish to bring your attention to this. Copper, new price scale, and this is the rise of commodities I was telling you earlier. We have a strong rally in copper. This is because China is doing better, real estate is better in China, and there are expectations we are going to have a more accommodative policy, so copper is moving up. With copper moving up like this, it would be very difficult to try to pick a top for the Aussie dollar. So please pay attention. I would leave this alone for now. I wouldn't trade Aussie USD. I would prefer Euro USD. But let me get rid of copper. I would definitely be interested to do business in Euro Aussie. Why? So this is the 4 hour, but let me switch to daily and you will see the reason why. The reason is, yes, it is outside the trend line, but Euro Aussie is a risk-on, risk-off currency, meaning that if we get a risk-off, it will move sharply higher. We are approaching interesting levels. You can see the balance here, the volume balance. The point of control is at 165.70. We are not far away. We are testing now the standard deviation of the VWAP, excuse me. So pay attention to this level. Look for a base. Somewhere around here, if we form a base, I would be looking for a speculative long. So pay attention to what I told you today. The main catalyst, again, is the US dollar. And stay with us for more updates, for more catalysts as we move further into 2026. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.